our IPv6, starting with this question. Good luck, everybody. All right, just dialing my camera in just a little bit for us. All right, Pat is the #1 answer why IPv6 hasn't taken hold yet as far as being the main protocol, because we're padding. We can put up to logically 64,000 addresses behind one IPv4 address. And what happens if you pat twice with port address translation or 3 times? So that's the reason that we haven't run out of IP addresses yet with IPv4. All right, nice work. Top of the podium is Amusing Bunny. I'm amused. All right, here's your next question. Good luck, everybody. All right, 48 answers on IPv6 unicast routing enabled, and that is literally true. If we enable IPv6 unicast routing and the interface has IPv6 configured on it, it's going to join the all routers multicast group of FF02::2. So FF, really good reminder. If it's FF as far as the address, that means it's a multicast address. That's going to buy you some points coming up. All right, I randomized these questions. Let's take a look at who's on the podium, and then we'll take a look at the next question. So Magic Sable, nicely done. And here's our next question. All right, fantastic. I had that prediction, but I wanted to find out what people were using. Great, great, great. What's the difference between getting hands-on practice with Packet Tracer and hands-on practice with gear that costs hundreds or thousands of dollars? The answer is, at the CCNA level, you get to do the same kind of practice as far as the commands, the show commands, and everything else. So keep up the great work with Packet Tracer as your hands-on go-to tool. It is free. And if you haven't already done so, check out the dozens and dozens of Packet Tracer labs that I've got available for free at thekeithbarker.com. All right, thanks for that feedback. And let's take a look at the next question, which is right here. What? They all generate an IPv6 address? What do you mean, Keith? They all generate an IPv6 address automatically. Well, with IPv6, we're going to have an address that we can use in our networks or globally to do routing with. And we're also going to have a link local address. And so all of these commands, if we implemented them, they would all generate automatically a link local address. Yep, every single one. And that's going to have part of the MAC address in it as well. All right, so there you go. 66 and 74 answers were the majority on this too, but all four were accurate. All right, keep your spirits up. And if you need to go back and study a little more on IPv6, please feel free to do so. And top of the heap, Super Hawk. Nice work. Here's our next question. FF02::1. That's the all IPv6 devices multicast address that they're going to join. So that's the one you'd want to remember. FF, remember, is the multicast address, and then FF02::1 is the all devices on that network segment are going to join that multicast address. And they have to do that because, you know, broadcasts don't exist anymore on IPv6. So IPv4 has broadcast, IPv6 doesn't. And so that's a good one to remember. All right, good job for everybody there. And here is our next question. It is this. Okay, a little bit tricky there. Which two commands auto-generate IPv6 addresses with info from the MAC address? So the red one is IPv6 address FD08:6783:164. Now that's a unique local address. However, behind the scenes, it's also going to create a link local address, which is going to use part of the MAC address information. That's why red is correct. And then yellow says IPv6 address 2020:1, and then the EUI64 says, yep, I'm going to generate, actually it's going to do two things. It's going to do an IPv6 address. It's also going to do the link local address. They're both going to have information from the MAC address as part of that. All right. And what I do also, only bring this back. What I also am doing is collecting information on these quizzes, and then I'm going to create some specific videos, whether it's static routing, IPv6, OSPF, access control list. And based on the questions that most people didn't do as well as they might have, I'm going to create some special short videos for those and sprinkle them in as we go along. Also, if you are preparing for your CCNA exam, I would encourage you in a big way to take a peek at the playlist for these Kahoots and just review them, just to go over them, make sure that you look at all the questions, make sure you understand why the answers are correct and that you can do those types of questions. These are all gauged at the appropriate level for you, my friend, as a CCNA candidate. Or if you're coming back to this just to help have fun and just play around, it's also great information to be aware of. All right, let's take a look at our next question, which is this. Good luck, everybody. So one of the strategies that I use is I will, when I have multiple guests, I'm calling it multiple guest questions, I will look at all the answers and just say, what's exactly the same about all of them? Like, is the network the same? Is the next hop the same? Is the egress interface, whatever it is, whatever the question is. And that way it can help me eliminate answers. So if I find 2 or 3 that have exactly the same for those parameters, I'll look at the one that's odd out. Like Sesame Street, when I was growing up, they had a program called Sesame Street here in the States. And it's like, one of these things is not like the other. So I'd rule out, based on one having a bad address or something else and drop that from the queue. And then I could focus on the other nuances of the syntax. And so here, I noticed that one of the other ones has the wrong network, the 2020 network, not the 2023. So yellow's out for that reason. 90, the blue answer, it's out because that's the administrative distance. And if we have a backup route to OSPF, if you think, well, Keith, I don't know OSPF dynamic routing. Well, maybe we do because the administrative distances for those routing protocols are the same. So if we know that OSPF has an administrative distance of 110, which it does, that's the same for IPv6's version of OSPF, even though Cisco CCNA is not going to test you on that. But knowing that the AD is not a bad idea. So this answer here is the only one that matches that 64-bit network and has a higher than the default administrative distance for OSPF, which makes it a floating static route. All right, here we go. Next question. Congrats to the 49 people who nailed that. Here is the next question. All right, that is fantastic. 82 votes on the correct answer. FF, if it starts with FF, that is a multicast address in IPv6. So FF0 anything is multicast. So way to go, way to go. And just for a heads up, by the way, the FE80 is a link local address. And the FC00::7, that's an example of a unique local address that you can route inside of a company, but not on the internet. Sort of like a private RFC 1918 address space for IPv6. And also this FC00, a lot of times what you'll actually see in production is FD as in David, because that's also in the same range of FC00/7, meaning the first 7 bits match up. All right, good job. All right, I will take my face off this screen, and I think we have like one more question, and hopefully it's for points. Oh, we have 2 more. Here we go. Question 9. Good luck. All right, it's true. There's no broadcast in IPv6. So that's the correct answer. I thought it'd be a little bit tricky. I thought I'd get more people with blue, but didn't get very many. So in IPv4, a broadcast stays in the VLAN. Like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But with IPv6, there is no such thing as a all points bulletin broadcast. The closest thing they have is a multicast, which, if everybody's listening, kind of feels like a broadcast. All right, great job. And I think we have just 2 more. So good luck on these last 2 questions. And, oh, I take it back. Last question, no pressure. All right, unique local, and I thought I might have given that away a little bit earlier by talking about FC00 as the unique local. But so unfortunately for IPv6 fans, the word local is used in a couple different terms. Link local is the IP addressing that stays on that segment. So if you have 2 routers that are both connected to VLAN 10, they're going to have link local addresses just for that VLAN 10 network, and those addresses, those networks, they can't be routed. You don't forward on a link local address. That's why we use global or unique local. That's the FC00::/7, which also includes the it also includes FD. Had a mental slip there. All right. Well, that's all the questions. So here's what we get to do. Let's see who ends up on the top of the podium. And here we go. 3rd place. Super Hawk. Everybody's a winner here because you showed up. That's half the battle in life. And Agile Hair, number 2, and number 1, Bold Sphinx. That's fun to say. All right, so here's what I'd like you to do. If you want to join us in Discord after, I'm going to do Q&A for a little bit. Let me actually go next, and let's get some feedback as well. I appreciate your feedback. You can do that through the app if you'd like. Also, I'm going to stick around for a few minutes and do some Q&A. If you have any questions you'd like to ask of me, go ahead and do an @KeithBarker so I'll be able to see it, and we'll answer a few questions. And then right after, we'll jump into Discord, into the CCNA voice chat, where a lot of us hang out and chat and ask questions, reinforce things, and you're free to join there. The link for that is in the video description below. Also, if you like these quizzes, A great way to make sure you don't miss any is to subscribe and click on the alert bell, and that way it lets you know when they're coming up, along with the other videos and Packet Tracer Labs and all those other tools that you can use to help get yourself ready for the CCNA. All right. I think that's all I need. Thank you, by the way, for the feedback. Let me go ahead and show that as well. All right, thank you very much for that feedback. And again, the data from the questions of what was missed is helpful for me as an educator, as a trainer, as a teacher to create additional content based on that. So also, if you happen to come in first, second, or third today, and you want to go to Discord and you want to direct message me or Kelvin or Trevor and just tell us what you'd like as an idea for the next Kahoot, the next quiz, please submit that idea or that request, and we'll probably do it. That's how it works. This Kahoot today on IPv6 was based on a request that came up in the previous in a previous Discord channel that we had, a previous discussion. All right, let me minimize that, put this up full screen. If you do have questions, oh, thank you very much, Solid Shadow. I appreciate that. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer them. If you're in a time zone where it's time to go to bed, please have a great night of sleep. If you need to study subnetting, which is a weak spot for many people, check out the subnetting playlist, Subnet Saturdays here on the channel. And if you need to bolt, we'll see you in the next live event. All right, now let's take a look at the Q&A and let's see what we have.